Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome everyone here and everyone those online. Thank you for taking your time to join us in this meditation followed by a talk, which is our regular program on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. So secure your space to be present fully in deep meditation, but with a good intention. Why we have to be present, for otherwise we're absent in the past. In doing so, we meander ourselves into dark places and spaces without noticing they are only our thoughts. We think they are things, they're real issues. We get swallowed by those wrong convictions, and we are totally unpresent. So karma body meditation is very good to prevent us, to develop a art of happiness through having some degree of self-control of our own mind and thoughts through good meditation. So to do meditation, we usually sit still and try to remain very focused. So I will guide you through the meditation. There will be 3 slots of 10 minutes, so each slots of 10 minutes. And after every 10 minutes slots, you take a few seconds of break and then again engage, so that you don't overexert yourself, nor do you under-engage yourself. So meditation has to be balanced, physically, mentally, intentionally, and attentionally, not to mention the contents of what you're doing. At the very beginning, we do with some prayers to be inclusive of others, people in the world who are unable to see their thoughts and actions. They react too much to the others, and that's make many times worse. You can see the crisis in the international, in the domestic, in the interpersonal, when actually it does the opposites. So we have good reason to think of many people who have fallen prey to their control by things around them, and their own reaction makes it just as worse. And that is also a topic of today's talk later. If we are not mindful and present, we don't see, detect, and modify. And sometimes no reaction may be best reaction. It's called patience, it's called peace. It may look weak at the beginning on the surface, but it's long term is the most strength of all strengths. Not losing oneself to the provocation by other adverse circumstances. And that's why meditation has a good reason to dedicate. So we do this in paying respect to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and dedicating of our effort for all sentient beings. So join me, everyone. The prayers will be screen shared for those online, and those who are here, you have one copy before you. Thank you. Oyenda Buddha Dhamma Sangha Aitere Pete Ladama Bhavacha Ajevendala Ajare Buddha Udu Ebis Endabu Dadama Zanga Atere Pete Ladama Bhavacha Ajevendala Ajare Vadatu Endabu Dadama atere la Dharma Choedak Rinpoche Ashare Buddha Beings. May all beings have happiness and a cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a path for happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion of those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a path for happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion of those near and far. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. So now with this prayers we will now begin the meditation. So I will give you a short guidance and then leave you to it in each of the three principles, what I call 4S. First is stillness. Stillness of your posture and attention and intention. Second S is sincerity. Your intention should be done wholeheartedly with the sit and whatever it takes. During that 10 minutes, you don't move, you don't become fidgety or restless or lazy or dull or bored. You stay very present to scan your posture. Because you're sincere, you will be very present. You're still with you. And third S is serenity. That's the attention. Your attention should be very much one-pointedly focused on the technique. So each of those during the first 10 minutes got different techniques. Just 10 minutes is on the posture. You just focus your attention to keep the posture straight and still and balanced and so on. Fourth S is the simple. Techniques is very simple. Just simply let the mind be charged to guard the body. So during these first 10 minutes, you sit still. So put your hands on the lap, as you're already on the floor, on the ground, on your seat. So make sure that your body doesn't move or try to adjust again. It's only 10 minutes. Just try to remain still. We're holding a vigil. If you remain still, and you're not just remaining still only, but you're consciously keeping your spine straight. If your spine is straight, your shoulders balanced, your both hands are put on your lap like this. Right hand is on the left. Put your two thumbs touch below the navel, and then hold it and keep the shoulders and vertebrae. The vertebrae is very important. It centers your whole posture. Your neck slightly bending forwards, but not by too much. Eyes half open, straight looking in front, across the tip of your nose on the floor, and have a soft and peaceful, serene gaze. Your jaw, your lips, Your teeth are left natural. Tongue slightly touching in the upper teeth so as to avoid dryness and wetness. Have a sense that single hair from your crown is pulling you towards the ceiling. So your attention should be serenely scanning your body up and down. As you are mind is the scanner, the body is the scanned. So that's why your mind is very serene, the body is still, attention, intention, very sincere. And don't let the mind go out or anywhere. Try to have a reasonable pace with which you scan, because the mind is the scanner. You should read the posture in the hands and the elbows, shoulders, the vertebrae, the top of the neck, the chin. The whole face should be relaxed, soft. And eyes got a soft, peaceful, happy, calm gaze. Prevent yourself from dozing off, because you could easily your body go slouching without you noticing. So idea is try to prevent the drooping of your body or becoming restless. Remain very still. And this represents the harmonizing of the four elements. Your stillness and stability is the earth element. Your cohesion and balance and harmony is the water. Your awareness and radiance and keeping the spine straight is fire. Fire gives radiance and warmth. And your insight and the wisdom while you're meditating is the oxygenation. So I leave you to it. Next 10 minutes, you remain very still. Just keep returning to your back, to your hands, to the neck, to the top of the crown, and then reverse again and again. Mind, body, and spirit are in harmony, calm, abiding. Just as we've been sitting still, focusing on the posture, during this second 10 minutes, we will do so by focusing mainly on the breath. Of course, you still keep the posture still and correct, but your focus of attention is now breath. When you inhale, mindfully do the inhalation like you are breathing in. You say, I'm breathing in. You're doing the breathing in. You should knowingly think something positive and mount that the incoming breath and see that as oxygenating you, feel inspired. And that's called qualified inhalation. As you inhale, then as you permeate the breath in the chest, just flood your chest, and as you permeate and pulsate the whole body, feel permeation in the body, red blood cells, the oxygen distributes everywhere, you feel rejuvenated. Stay very present during the phase of the permeation. Then as you breathe out, exhale, mindfully exhale, do the exhalation, long, calm out breath, and learn to let go tiredness, stress, fear, or difficulties in the world, or in your personal life. Just breathe them out in one out breath. The carbon of out breath relieves you. That's called qualified exhalation. Now do that. That's called one. Do the second even more clearly. As you finish the exhalation, count 2. Again, do in, permeate, out, 3. So you try to use these 3 mantras. In, when you're breathing. Hold, when you're permeating. Out, when you're exhaling. You do them knowingly, wholeheartedly, stillness. Same for S applies, stillness of your attention, sincerity of your motivation, and serenity of your actual mindfulness, and simply staying with that. And if possible, keep counting many rounds, as far as maybe 30, because you should have enough time to do 30 rounds or more, depending to your pace. If you lose the count, don't worry, take a mini break, and then start again, count from 1 again. And the next is 2, and each time you finish exhaling, count that as 1, next one, 2, and so on. While doing that, make sure your posture is still, your intention's good, your attention's with the breath, not anything else. And this will greatly increase your calmness. So let's do that. So we'll continue the final 10 minutes. During this, you're actually building on to the two techniques already, but mainly changing the technique of using your focus counting reverse. If you reach, say, the 30 or 40 or 50, whatever highest number during the previous 10 minutes, now you do the same counting of inhale, carefully see, know, do, and feel the inhalation inspiringly, and then also permeate, do the permeation, see the effect, know, and feel the regeneration and recharging your awareness. And then as you exhale, you breathe out, knowingly stress or pain or hurt or difficulties or wrong views, just calm and leaving out, feel relieved and completely let go. And then count that as, say, 50. And then do the next, in, permeate, exhale, 49. Next one, in the same way, not necessarily quicker, but really sharper as a resolution of attention, intention, and the awareness, and 48. As you do this, try to keep your postures even better than the before, not slouching, not moving, not stiff, not slack. Your attention is sharpened by each ability to count reverse. Counting is extraordinarily useful to keep your mindfulness. So let's try that. Thank you. So that's the meditation. We'll now do the short prayer requesting the teaching formality. According to the intelligence and predisposition of it, where the Yajanda Dharma agrelo and calm eagles. So, and now follow a short Dharma talk on the topic of the consequences of reactions. I suppose sitting in meditation is a reaction to the futility of unskillful actions of thoughts, words, and deeds. When we say consequences of reaction, we have to go back to the word actions. Actions constitute three: visible physical actions, and audible verbal actions, and cognizable mental actions. It's only cognizable to the person who is thinking certain thoughts, brooding anger, generating loving kindness, or practicing patience. These are all mental actions. But when we're meditating, we are actually is mental actions. We try to calm the mind so that it doesn't get dissipated in the wrong thoughts or wrong object. We try to focus, stay still in the meditation. This topic of this talk is prompted by all kinds of reactions that's either international conflicts or regional conflicts or communal conflicts, ethnic conflicts, or domestic violence situations, or people who are themselves, they're in a room, but they're really unsettled, and they are reacting to some things, what they think is happening out there. So people lose their mind to what they assume is the provocation of someone's action. The inability to contain their own thoughts and words and deeds and make peace is because people are agitated by what they think is someone's action is worthy of forgiving or being patient to. Therefore, someone needs to stand up or take the action. They call it reactions. Often people allege actions that may be violent, physically or verbally or intentionally, are also their own reactions. They did not come out of no cause. They have grievances of something, however unqualified they are. The person who is able to foresee the consequences of his or her reaction to whatever the action the other people have or provoked is one thing. But not being able to foresee the consequences of one's reaction that will stuck with oneself is what most people's problems are, such as resentment, is guilt and ill will. These are thought reactions. What they think that someone did or didn't, and then they are harboring ill will and anger and guilt and resentment. These are all reactions of thoughts, negative thoughts reactions, and it has consequences. People are stressed, people are depressed, people are able to stay present or rejoice their comfort or rejoice the company of loved ones or rejoice their good home or good job because they are so racked within, because they are resorting to hate and ill will and resentment. And these are what I call thought reactions. Lots of people in first world suffer mental problems because they are societally they're very civilized. They don't do anything socially wrong because they know punishable by law and so on. So they wouldn't do much physically, verbally, but emotionally they're just completely self-sabotaging themselves without realizing the consequences of the thought reactions. We have such a civilized world in relatively much, say, better than, say, 40 years ago. You can see how people are really careful not to do the wrong thing by the law, and they try to observe the road rules or whatever it is. You can see everybody's trying their best. They were taught right from the beginning not to litter, the home or school or places. They all try to restrain physical wrong actions, and people do that, and that's why we have clean streets and everywhere you can really walk. People really look after the environment because they don't want to do the wrong thing physically. They don't want to damage public property or anyone's property. If there's someone's thing is broken or fallen, they put it up and until it's found or take it to the local authority. So you can see people are actually very, very thoughtful towards each other physically, maybe less verbally these days, because verbally people they think they have the right to say what they say. They don't realize consequences of bad mouthing is incredible. They think they got right speech, right speech, freedom of speech, but they don't realize even the parrot, the talkative parrot, practice too much freedom of speech is become caged. The ordinary jackdaw are never kept in a cage because they never talk. People don't realize there are consequences of their reactions verbally. And worse still is consequences of their thought reactions. Their consequences of their thought reactions, the anger, the judgment, the hurt, the resentment, and the ill will, and jealousy, what people brood in themselves about someone's assumed wrong action, and then they justify themselves to stay angry about that small issue and make their anger about it very big over many, many months, years, some people even. And so we're talking about consequence of reaction is illness. Some people are developing terrible life-threatening illnesses. These are once upon a time thoughts, and then become chemicals, and then became beliefs, and then became biology. It all didn't become all of a sudden sickness. So if you become meditator, you become mindful, oh, this will have consequences. If I brood this ill will or anger about him or her or that or this, it will do more harm to me than what I think they did to me. This is mindfulness, so that you don't do ill will. However wrong someone's thing is, still practice kindness to them, forgiveness to them, because you know the consequences of being kind and forgiveness is far better than ill will. But most are foolish not to see this. Only those who have their mind in their hand know this. They can foresee this. They can say in 10 years' time, the outcome of all the brooding anger and forgiving now is like a poison and medicine. Right now, it may feel good because you said what you want to say. It's out of chest, but you don't realize that you have lost a friend, and others will remember your bad mouthing, and they will almost doesn't want to even talk to you. And people are not talking to each other because someone talked too much. Yeah, they're lonely because they made themselves alienated by their bad mouthing. They didn't realize that their bad mouthing has consequences. They think the subject and object about which to talk is so relevant that their bad mouthing has no consequences. These days, even our legal situations are very, very conscious about punishing those who do defame others, who do cause schism, and have the intent to divide people. These days, they don't punish a wrong action of other lightly just on the surface. They say, what was the intention? They're already talking about what was the intent of doing that. So law is catching up. In Buddhism, we call it karma. If you know karma, if you believe in karma, of course you will fear the consequences yourself. So therefore, you rather swallow the bitter pill now and accept and admit your share of mistakes and forgive the other, however wrong theirs are. Yours isn't better if you don't forgive them. Yours has become more resentful, and ill will is far, far destructive than the wrongdoing of any action. So therefore, consequences of reactions is more important than consequences of action. You made me to do it, people say that. But what we did is not their consequences. It's they will say, you did this, as a result of that, this is the consequence, you do it. So there is the chain reaction. Those who know how to fear the future consequences, but rather forbear the present difficulties to forbear, that's called patience. That's called giving peace a chance. Very few have the wisdom and tenacity and courage and compassion and foresight to do this. But if you meditate, meaning you're present, you will see your mind, I shouldn't really, over that issue, I shouldn't be angry towards him. He's my this. No, I cannot do this. This is ridiculous. This is just like death. I don't want to do this. And then you try to let it go. In one good meditation, you just rise up from the meditation, change person, because you've been breathing out all of those huff and puff. You're not suffocating yourself anymore. Now you have seen the consequences of actions because you are meditating, and as a result of that, it allows you to empty your chest and not hold those wrong opinions because you know them they're wrong. We are hurt more by subsequent opinions than than the provocation by others. Don't look for the remote cause. Look for the near cause. If you can't apprehend the near cause, how can you be accurate in remote causes? So, if you can't see the near causes, how can you see the far causes? Because there's too distance. You know? How can you tell it's a bird or a Qantas flight? You know, it looks like a bird when in the very far distance, and then slowly it says, "Oh, not a bird; it's an airplane." And then it comes closer and closer. You can even tell which airline. So, our ability to foresee the consequences control us to not say certain things or form certain opinions, let alone do physical reactions. And this is called calm abiding. This is what you try to tame your mind, going wild, and not become perturbed in learning how to meditate. Learning to meditate is not just sitting still and doing the practice we did, but being able to remain still and calm with whatever you do, and do them with grace and dignity and care. You will notice at your workstation you're much more very, very harmonious, respectful, courteous towards others. You do your thing very carefully and wholeheartedly. You have the 4S, stillness, that's your responsibility. Sincerely, with serene attention, you can see the speed, accuracy, and the quality. And it doesn't cause any stress when you do that. You finish your job much quickly and happily. You don't have this, you don't nag, having, I did this, I have to do this. You don't nag to your mother or the father or the husband or the mother. And you do it willingly and happily. And it gives such a radiance of joy. A lot of people do, but they just cancel the benefit by nagging and complaining what they have to do. You see negative reaction again. Particularly if your job is paid or even voluntary, you're doing out of your voluntary intention. So do it wholeheartedly with being very present. Just like when you inhale, you should stay with inhalation. When you do with permeation, you do with permeation. When you do the exhalation, you do with exhalation. And when you do that many times, it will breathalyze you. It will resuscitate your capacity to become alive. Every breath, if it's done carefully, is more valuable than piece of pearl. I don't know what we'll do with the many pieces of pearl anyway. Why you want to wear so many pearls that are discarded in the sea by the creatures? I don't know why human beings have to go and collect the shells of animals and put around the neck as some great riches. Probably they robbed it. Someone else's mother. So many shells. So many pearls. They're stolen goods. Maybe they were allowed to do it, but still it is someone else's. The real pearl is the wisdom. You meditate, you realize every round of breath has make you to become joyful, delightful. And this is what we call consequences of you are taking up meditation. People were told to meditate by the health professional, by the social worker, by the community health care, and various people say, "Oh, you should meditate." They're responding to your needs, and when you take up the meditation formally and learn properly, and say even you're able to attend like this session, and week after week, you will slowly see the incredible sanity returning to your mind and thoughts and where you think and you're able to discard quite a lot of opinions that you were hurt by. You should argue against that opinion because you and your relationship with somebody else is harmed by you being so fixated with that opinion. It's not so much their wrongdoing, but your reaction to their alleged wrongdoing and the thought that opinion that you held is hurting you so much. Now, when you're able to distinguish from the near cause and remote cause of problem, you must deal with the near cause. Near cause is your own self cause. Bad thoughts, ill will, resentment, poor me. This kind of intention and attention that we don't recognize is illiteracy. People have degrees to hang on the wall, but they don't know how to read their own mind, what it is doing. Their thought is causing a lot of sufferings. Teachings of the Buddha is all about thought transformation. So when you sit and meditate and watch the couple rounds of breath here, and slowly it is designing to make you to become cognizant of your own thoughts as distinct from the object. Is the thought independent of the object, or is your thought about the object is not the object, it's your thought about the object. But you took it to be object, but actually your thought about the object. It's important to distinguish your thought and the object. One is fiction, one is fact. If you love fiction reading, that's the problem. I'm not against fiction reading, by the way, but I don't have time for it. There's so many real life situation stories unfolding every day. They already are a kind of a drama in its own sense. We don't need to whip them up, but we should learn to unwhip them. Every time you sit on the cushion and meditate, you try to unwhip them and take a space, give a space between yourself and your situation, your issues. Don't become your issues. They're just your thoughts. And if you want to part from the thoughts, you shall be liberated. This is thought liberation. We're not talking about a dictator. We're not talking about a difficult person in your life. We're talking about liberating yourself from bad thoughts. Most people suffer bad thoughts. They're called depression. They're called anxiety in modern psychological terminology. In Buddhism, we call poison thoughts. Poison thoughts. So, thoughts that are poisoned by greed and ill will and ignorance. In meditation, we try to protect our mind from being tainted by these adverse thoughts. And when you watch the breath, you could distinguish those thoughts, adverse thoughts and positive thoughts. When you inhale kindness, your mother, if you remember to say inhale and think of your mother and her kindness, you do the inhalation, you know you definitely have a kind mother. You see the oxygen bringing all the memories and feel inspired by her. That's medicinal thoughts. But lots of people aren't doing that. They're sitting there worried and feeling unloved, feeling angry about him or her or that issue, that, and they're inhaling that. That's what the poisonous thoughts is. You know, if there are lots of pollution in Dhaka or Kathmandu or Delhi, you put a face mask, so that you don't breathe breathe the polluted air in Dhaka or Kathmandu. What if your mind is polluted by anger and ill will? There's no face mask for that. There is meditation. A lot of people are living in a beautiful environment, but they are polluted by the bad thoughts. Their whole rooms are painted and they're carpeted and beautiful cornices and doors and security and garden and so beautiful, but inside the person is soiled by anger and ill will and doubt and resentment, and they can't sleep at night, they can't taste food good in the day. They're so ransacked by poisonous thoughts. They have consequences. They happened some time ago. They didn't happen overnight, and they were never been intervened or corrected by people saying you should mind your thoughts. People say they mind your steps or mind your head or somewhere like that. They say mind your step, mind your head. They never say mind your thoughts. Yeah, mind your thoughts. That's really useful. It's not only when you're entering and coming out of houses, but when you're entering into certain thoughts. Mind your thoughts. Don't go into these thoughts of poor me, resentment and anger and so on. Really, your mind, your head, not only your head is bashed, but also your mind is lost to it too. People have lost their mind over that issue, thinking he's the one, you are the victim. We lost the mind about that. And ever since that, we couldn't change our mind about that person. We are condemned by our thoughts. We couldn't change our thought about our father or the sister or mother or someone because we think they are kind of a dictator or arrogant or violent or whatever. Those are your thoughts that you didn't mind, and you hit your head to it many times. So that's why mindfulness means thoughtfulness. Meditation is teaching us how to be mindful of the consequences of your thoughts, and therefore words, and therefore deeds. Yeah, if you're not mindful of thoughts, you wouldn't have any control of your mouth. And therefore you have no control over what you do, what you eat, what you drink. People are eating the wrong stuff, drinking the wrong stuff, alcohol, narcotics, and masking their problem with that. These are mindless actions, destroying the very health the body actually seeks to have, but not knowing the type of thing they do and don't do are causing huge distraction to one's own well-being. So Buddha was the physician of the mind right from the start. He wanted people to learn to mind their mind. And that's why mindfulness is incredible, is much greater value than God in Buddhism. Because God is neither here nor there. If you have mindfulness, if there is a God, that's within you. God means light. Let there be light, yes. If you're mindful, your mind becomes lit. Instead of ill will, you will turn to goodwill. You can see the harm and consequences of the ill will physically, emotionally, intellectually, behaviorally, all. Even people abuse alcohol. They're masking their alcoholic behavior by drink, they try to mask the anger. They justify, then they become even more bolder than before to act and speak in a way that they would not dare to normally. These are because people losing their mind to the anger, and they don't realize the consequences of that reaction. It has made them to become alcoholic. We are intoxicated enough by selfishness, by righteousness. We don't need to drown in alcohol. Has consequences to your pocket, to your behavior, to your sanity, and to your lack of all the above. What deprives people's sanity? Why people become insane? Because they have lost their mind to anger, poison of ill will, and so on. So meditation that we've been doing is medicine, preventative medicine, Of course, curative medicine is there too, but it's better, it's a preventative. Better we can prevent disease than having to resort to all this difficult treatment. Those treatments have their own consequences, reactions. Some people's body doesn't respond very well to the treatment. They may have the same symptoms as your friends or somebody else next to you, but both persons receiving this treatment, body does not receive. Your body isn't quite receptive because of the chemicals, bad thoughts that you have resorted so long. Everything is so interdependent. And that this conscious awareness to your thoughts, to your opinions, to your, I would say, perceptions. Your perceptions are so important. If you form perceptions, you are often stuck by it. We suffer more our deluded perception than the perceived. It's only practitioners in meditation come to know this more aware. that we are more suffering of our own negative perception than the negativities of the perceived. We could easily lift the kind of curse that we have put on that object by our negative thoughts. If we don't do the negative thoughts, the object manifests totally as someone to rekindle, reconnect with. Love again, hate never. People can regain consciousness. They call it reviving. Reviving from the death caused by hate. And then one has the incredible capacity to radiate unconditional loving kindness and forgiveness. Never is anyone's childish wrongdoing bad in itself, for you have the medicine to turn it into a cause of compassion, forgiveness. And that's consequences of compassionate and forgiving and tolerant reactions is medicinal. The encounter may have been negative, but consequences are positive because your reaction wasn't negative. Your reaction was peace and understanding. By knowing everything changes, nothing is really real. How long does anything last? Not much unless you whip it up. Because you unwhip it, it doesn't stay the same. So meditation is a very good thing. I'm glad you all joined me. Thank you, everyone. So that's all we have time. If you have one or two pressing questions, please put your hands up. Is that you? Yes, Margarita. Did you have a question? Please, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Yeah, that little button. Yeah, I can hear.
You can hear me now? No, I just wanted to say thank you very much and lovely to see you and enjoy the beautiful weather today.
Thank you, Margarita. Yes, I don't know whether the weather is same place or weather, but it's beautiful weather of your good mind. Yes. In Canberra, definitely is a spring. It's a Florida. It's only second day of the Florida, so it's very beautiful indeed.
Have you been? Have you been to Florida?
Not yet. Maybe later today.
Lovely. You have a lovely day and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. You too, Margarita. Thank you, everyone. Yes, hello. Thank you, Greg. Are you still in Siba?
I am, sir, yes. A few things to finish up, yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Yes, there's lots going on here. This is really good.
That's good, yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Join me in the short closing prayer of the day session. Thank you for being here, and send the small feelings of good vibration to places and people where there are lots of conflict and a lot of sufferings and pain caused by communal violence and difficult decision made by some governments, and how much war and terrible suffering there are. May they bring some peace, find some peace through the small but very heartfelt prayers that we offer here today. Om Badis Mere Meveogam Dadifa Medzage Omnise Meale Perado Be from the jana pada de sene de herenda maya na jiju whatever merit I have agro may obi be constant less vessel to hold the maya na jiju courage manju shinyu de asama traba dradila following over the zambo aja de de mere excellent body jida cheba vedana danzo has been bomb freely without generation. Thank you, everyone.